I've come to praise, not to pillory for a change. If you don't know who I am, let me introduce myself. I'm Suzanne Tinkemeyer. I used to write for Pathos, a column called No Longer Quivering. I did that nearly 10 years. I covered the religious spectrum around Quiverful, evangelicalism and fundamentalism, all that nastiness where it collides. That was what I covered after having come out of a Quiverful church for almost 20 years. I had some very distinct opinions on this. Okay, if you could do the YouTube things, hit like, subscribe, click the bell notification, that would be all good, all good. Please don't bully anybody I'm about to talk about. And these are just my opinions, but this is one of those days where I think we need to say something positive for a change instead of the usual negativity that we see in this space. First of all, let me wish anybody coming here as Costa Rican, happy Costa Rican Independence Day. I am going to have quite a lot of fun hanging this tonight. Apparently, reach in here and show you guys. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Well, you can't see it because the light's too bright, but it lights up, it lights up, it lights up. It's got a little, like a little light on the inside. It's got a little LCD kind of light that lights up. I'm going to get a kick out of this evening once it gets dark around 5:30, like it always does every day. So, mini history lesson here. Costa Rica and many other Central American countries gained their independence today when Spain, who had colonized all of this place, Central America, parts of South America, could no longer afford to do so, and they gave them their independence. Yay! Spain was almost bankrupt from having dealt with France. They were fighting with Napoleon. So here we go. For Napoleon did something right for once. So Costa Rica gained its independence at that point. This is a place with no army that's quite peaceful. And I got to tell you, after living in the U.S. with the fighting between the parties, this is the best place for me to be. Some place where I'm insulated from that, and there's no fighting here. Speaking of no fighting, that is the primary reason that I'm doing this today. I want to praise a selfless member in our group, our little bunch of us that hang around and talk about the many manifold sins of one Katherine Paulson. I would like to praise Llama Girl. Llama Girl has been there from the very beginning. She's been instrumental. She's taken so much excretia over every dumb little thing one could imagine because she has a tendency, she records all of Miss Paulson's live streams and she clips out the most problematic parts, uploads them onto Twitter so all of us who are following to see what latest outrageous thing Katherine Paulson has done don't have to actually go give her a view. We can just wait for Llama Girl to do it. So as far as I'm concerned, Llama Girl is doing a thankless task. She's doing a thankless task. And I don't know how she does it. I wouldn't want to watch all that crap. But she does it. She doesn't charge anything. She's rather selfless in it. If you want to, go buy her a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description below how you can bless Llama Girl. Like I said, she's been somebody that I've looked up to and admired here. I talked to her a little bit this week about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II and the ascension of Charles III. Those of us that are history geeks are looking at this very in lots of interest because of what happened to Charles I and Charles II. So we're looking at this, and being able to talk to someone who lives there, is experiencing this, has been a lot of fun. And that's not the only time I've ever talked to Llama Girl. I talk to her every now and then. I think she's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, there's a contingent of people that have decided that she sucks, and I'm not going to mention anybody by name. but she was accused of sad fishing over the death of her son. Several years ago, she lost her son under very tragic circumstances. And there are actually people out there that are saying ugly things about this kind, selfless woman that's providing all these clips who happened to lose her son. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I cannot imagine the realms of pain that must involve. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a child, an adult child, just how hard that would be. And for those of you guys that are picking on her, go touch the grass. Really, go out there and do something with yourself. The last week or so, I've spent way less time on the internet, and it's been the best thing in the world. Why has it been the best thing? Well, I don't have to put up with anybody else's BS, number one, and I'm protected from having to look at tons and tons of this stuff. And there's been a ton of effery in the last week. For me, the last 3 days have been filled with effery, getting up and having all these weird messages in my inbox from people I don't know that are like making all these allegations. And usually their allegation starts with Steve lost his lawsuit. Well, Steve never filed his lawsuit. He did pocket service, giving Katie Joy warning that he was thinking about it, but he never actually filed. You have to actually file before somebody wins or loses. So that's a ridiculous statement. And the other things have been all those questions that I posted on my frequently asked questions, because I just got a free-form sea of that. And I know where these things are coming from. I know exactly who it is that is pushing this narrative, where these questions, where they're saying all this stuff, I did this, I did that. I know where that's coming from. It all has to do with Miss Katherine Paulson. I believe it is an attempt to shut me down. It's not going to work. I'll just address the question, smile, say bless your heart, and move on. Because that is how I am constructed. And I'm one of those people where if you've proven to me that you're not a safe person, I go ahead and block you. I mean, I just don't have anything else to do with you. Hear from you, say, because I just don't have time for that, as I've said before. So that's why I'm doing this as an upload instead of doing a live, because I've had a few of these people show up as well. And as I've said before, I don't have time for this. I just don't. And I'm about to go out, run some errands. I got to go to the computer store and get a few things. And I am going to go to the beach. I'm going to work in my sewing room today, in my studio. I have all the oil paints one could ever hope for. I got the other day. I'm going to start on a series of paintings involving the rodeo a couple of weeks ago. So back to Costa Rica, the fun part of Costa Rica. One of the funnest things you can do, most fun things you can do, it's free to go, but to sit in the stands and view, it might cost you anywhere from $2 to $5 mil, which is about $1.80. Would it be $1.80? No, it'd be less than that. Maybe $1.70. Up to about maybe about $7, $7 or $8 to sit in the stands. I'm talking about the Costa Rican Rodeo. Guanacaste, where most of the big beaches are, is agrarian. It is all this culture that has to do with cowboys and farming and that sort of thing. So one of the things that you can do in Costa Rica that is the cheapest, that I'm going to talk about, I think, the next time I do a Costa Rica video, but I wanted to rant a tiny bit about this morning. One of the most fun things you can do is go to the rodeo. I know that sounds ridiculous. It's like, but Suzanne, didn't people do rodeos in the States years and years ago? Yeah, they did, especially out west. And I used to go to the ones that we had in Louisiana. Angola Rodeo was the most fun to go to, where the prisoners would come out and ride the bulls. But that was serious and deadly. This is not that. This is more fun and lighthearted. First of all, Costa Rica is a place where they don't harm animals. You see this deer? He can live his life knowing that no hunter is coming after him with a gun because it's forbidden to harm an animal here, be it domestic or wild. And I like that about this here. I don't think animals should be harassed. I like the fact that there's signs everywhere that say slow down and shows pictures of the animals that usually cross at that place. Many times it's just those big iguanas, but sometimes you see some quadrupeds and all sorts of cool things. So because Costa Rica is one of these places where they don't harm the bulls or any animals, the rodeos take on a whole new dynamic. First, you got your caballeros riding their horses, caballas. So the horses are usually well trained, the ones I've seen. When I went the other day to take pictures at the roundup where they were putting the horses together for our town rodeo, I got some excellent shots. One guy had, I couldn't identify exactly what kind of gait the horse had. I was looking at the horse. It looked to me like it was some rather fancy horse. I want to say like a paso, but I don't know. It's been years since I fooled with the horse world, so I don't know what kind of horse it was, but it had the strangest gait. It had a really high stepping, fancy gait, and you don't see that usually here. And there were all sorts of other horses and riders, and it was very interesting to watch. But the rodeo itself, you go, you pay $2 to sit in the stands. You pay another $2 for a nice cold mojito or a nice cold chilito, I think is what they call those drinks. It's basically like a very spicy Bloody Mary with locally made hooch in it. So you have your little refreshing adult beverage. You're sitting in the stand. You're wondering what the heck's going to happen. And they start releasing the bulls. Now, most of these bulls are old farmers' bulls. They're bulls that don't seem altogether on the bubble as far as going out there and being aggressive. The first time we went to the bullfights, we walked around the bullfighting ring, and there are bullfighting rings all over Guanacaste, and noticed they had the bulls out. They had them in this large enclosure area. I was actually going and petting some of them. That's how gentle they were. So most of the time, the bull would come out, take one look at the crowd, and try to go back. And the rink would be full of local guys, young local guys, usually kind of sauced up, kind of drunken. And the game became to take a bull, to remove a balloon from the back of the bull, or a ribbon, or some little trinket, or just even touch the bull. As in Native American culture, counting coup, touch the bull and you're done. Very few times have I seen any of the feisty bulls, but a couple of them came out and were roaring and snorting and trying to stick their horns up somebody's rear end. So it's always funny. I've seen a couple of injuries, but mostly the gruesome injuries don't happen at this kind of bullfighting because there's no horrible thing done to the bull. And I kind of prefer it that way, I think. Now, I've seen some horrific horse injuries, unfortunately, when they start having the caballos come in on their horses and they're lassoing the bulls and things. I see that happen, unfortunately. It's not a completely safe sport, but the way they do it here, it's very respectful and very few bulls or people get hurt. And I have to laugh because one of the things they have is this little tiny window with a flap, like a cat door. And if somebody gets trampled or whatever, they push that person through the cat door-like door, and the ambulance is waiting on the other side to catch them and haul them away. So that's one of the most fun things you can do very cheaply here in Costa Rica. And they'll have all kinds of fair food. You can get all kinds of local foods. You can get a slice of pizza if you want. All sorts of things. And I have really enjoyed just going around and watching the crowd. People watching is one of my most favorite things to do here. And it's a lot of fun. This is a fun place to be for things like that. So, oh my goodness, I've ranted. I meant to talk about the lovely Llama girl. So I'm just going to end and say, thank you, Llama, for everything you've done, everything you will do, and for your kindness and friendship through the years. Thank you for not engaging in the effery. And she has been the epitome of class while they've tried to drag her in the middle of the dramas and has not engaged. I do have to say that poor Joanne, who's a lovely person and quite nice, has somehow been dragged into the middle of this nonsense. Just use some common sense when they start saying that people are this or people are that, particularly if it's somebody you've known a long time and you know you may not agree with them 100%. We're all human. We're all different. We're not going to agree with each other 100%. But the whole thing with the rumors going around and accusations to get this one and that one are just utterly silly. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm not engaging in any of that. To the person that tried to put a comment on my frequently asked questions post, who is blocked on this site, hit me up on Twitter if you want to discuss it further, because my DMs are open and I don't have this person blocked at all. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I've already dealt with so many people this week. What's another one wanting to ask questions or make requests? Okay, you guys, I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your kindnesses over the last couple of years. I really do appreciate you guys, and I do read every comment, except for the blocked ones. The blocked ones, I rarely see it. This morning I saw one. But most of the time, if you're blocked, your comment is just not going to even show up on my wall. And that's fine with me, because I really don't need to fight with everybody and their brother. I've got a million other things going on, and I much prefer peace. I'm gonna try to be a nicer, kinder me now, because I don't want that kind of reputation. I don't want to be the reputation of the person that's just mean for the sake of being mean. Now, can I be salty? Well, of course. The other day, somebody said something about someone in the community, thinking they're Tuco Salamanca. Tuco Salamanca was a character on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And I quipped back that this person was not even fit to hold Hector Salamanca's bedpan, much less pretend to be Tuco Salamanca. It is what it is. I will make the occasional funny quip. That's how my mind rolls. That's how I roll. I'm not fighting with anybody. You guys can do whatever. It has been a rough couple of 3 days with the way people have been acting and some of the things that people have tried to engage in involving myself or my name. I'm not going there. You guys I'm going to do the Llama Girl thing. I'm just going to go bless your heart and just move on. Breathe in, breathe out, move on. That's the song that I love by Jimmy Buffett. It's about Katrina, about Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans and the devastating effect it had, which I happen to know a little bit about because my aunt's house was a mere block and a half from the 13th Street Canal collapse. And one of my photo albums I have nothing but pictures of the devastation of Katrina. And I have to say, I lived through Betsy, I lived through Camille, I lived through a number of really bad hurricanes in South Louisiana, but nothing like Katrina. When I went down there to help with the cleanup, to see family members and that sort of thing, I was shocked. And I'd been through so many of these things. So let's save our anger for things that are real. I'm just going to say it. The failure of politics to protect the people against natural disasters, the fact that they don't upgrade infrastructure like they should be doing. I was watching a report earlier today on the mess that is the water system in Jackson, Mississippi. And it's hard to believe sometimes that the U.S. has fallen so far. And I don't believe either side holds an answer. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think we're going to have the people retake the reins of governance and decide what is actually important in the country. I think that time is coming, and I think it's going to be ugly when it does happen, but it needs to happen. And those are the things I'm interested in. How can we go about helping other people improve their lives? How can we be kind? How can we breathe in, breathe out, move on, and forgive people and just not hold their past against them? I'm trying to do that. Some people that I've decided to forgive and I've let them pass don't quite get it yet, but there it is. I'm going to throw that out there. And that's another reason to praise Llama Girl. I have never seen her be ugly to anyone or to throw their past at them or any of that. Classy lady. Okay, I'm really going to go this time, man. I'm just rambling on about everything under the sun. It figures I'm the history geek with ADD, obviously. Love you guys.